June checked his rifle again and scanned the horizon. The early morning sun cast long shadows across the dusty road. He had been hired to protect a truck carrying important medicine to a small town. After 15 years as a Special Forces soldier in South Korea, this job seemed easy. 2 hours to our destination. The driver called back to him. June nodded and returned to watching. Something felt wrong. The road was too quiet. No birds sang. No wind blew. Just silence. A flash of blue light appeared on the road ahead. "Stop the truck," June shouted, raising his weapon. The driver hit the brakes hard. The truck skidded to a halt. The blue light grew larger, swirling like water. June had never seen anything like it. His training told him to protect the cargo, but curiosity made him stare. From the light stepped a tall figure. It was not human. It stood nearly 3 meters tall with gray-blue skin that glowed with strange patterns. Its 4 arms held devices June did not recognize. "Stay in the truck," June ordered the driver as he stepped out, weapon aimed at the creature. The alien, June had no other word for it, tilted its large head. 2 more aliens emerged from the light behind the first one. "What do you want?" June called out, voice steady despite his racing heart. The aliens made clicking sounds to each other. Then the first one raised a small object and pointed it at June. June's training took over. He fired 3 quick shots. The bullets hit the alien but seemed to stop before breaking skin, falling harmlessly to the ground. The alien made a sound like laughter. June dove behind the truck as a beam of light shot from the alien's device. Where it hit the road, the ground sizzled. "Run," June yelled to the driver. "Get help." The driver jumped out and sprinted away. 2 of the aliens followed him. June fired again, aiming for the alien's hand device. This time, his bullet knocked the weapon away. The alien made an angry sound and charged. June rolled, kicked up to his feet, and met the alien with his combat knife. Despite the alien's size, June was faster. He slashed across one of its arms, drawing a thick purple liquid. So they could be hurt after all. The alien roared. Its wounded arm swung at June, hitting him in the chest. The force sent him flying against the truck. Pain exploded through his body. Before he could recover, the alien was on him. June fought with everything he had. He stabbed the alien twice more. His military training had prepared him for human enemies, not this. Still, he would not give up. The other aliens returned. The driver was nowhere to be seen. June hoped he had escaped. "What are you?" June gasped as he struggled against the alien's grip. They did not answer. One pointed another device at him. A mist sprayed into June's face. His limbs grew heavy. His vision blurred. The last thing June saw was the blue light growing around him. When June woke, he could not move. He was floating in a clear container filled with a thick liquid. He could breathe, somehow, but little else. Beyond the glass walls of his prison, June saw a massive room filled with similar containers. Each held a different creature. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien. All were captives, like him. The room itself was metal, with curved walls that suggested he was on a ship. Soft lights pulsed along the ceiling. Through a large window, June could see only darkness and distant stars. Earth was gone. He was in space. June tested his prison, pushing against the walls. They did not give. His weapons were gone. His clothes had been replaced with a simple gray covering. In the container next to his, a bird-like creature with 6 wings watched him with intelligent eyes. When it saw him looking, it pressed a clawed hand against the glass. June did the same, their hands aligned, separated by 2 walls. He was not alone, but he was far from home. And someone, or something, had taken him for a reason. Dae-ho walked slowly between the rows of containers, his long robes sweeping the polished floor. His 4 eyes blinked in different patterns as he studied each specimen. The holding room was his favorite place on the ship. Here, he could admire his growing collection in peace. The human is awake, Master Daho, said an aide, following 3 steps behind as custom required. Good. Daho's voice was deep and smooth. Show me. They moved to the far wall where June floated in his container. Daho noticed the human was not cowering like most new specimens. Instead, he was watching, studying everything around him. Fascinating, Daho said. Most beings cry or sleep after capture. This one observes. He fought back during collection, the aide said. Injured 2 hunters. Back and rim will need 3 days in healing chambers. Daho's mouth formed what passed for a smile among Varaxians. A fighter then. Even better. He pressed a hand against the control panel. The liquid in June's container drained away. As the human dropped to his knees, a section of the glass slid open. Can you understand me? Daho asked. June coughed, clearing the breathing fluid from his lungs. He looked up at the tall alien, but said nothing. Your species learns quickly, Daho continued. The translation implant we placed in your brain should help you understand our language. June touched the small bump behind his ear. His eyes narrowed. Where am I? June asked, his voice rough. Why am I here? He speaks. Daho turned to his aide with delight. See how quickly it adapts. I ask you a question, June said, standing up. The aide stepped forward with a shock rod, but Daho waved him back. You are aboard my collection vessel, Daho explained. I am Daho of House Varax. You should feel honored. Only the finest specimens join my collection. Collection. June looked around at the other containers. We're not things to collect. Daho laughed, a bubbling sound like water boiling. All lesser species are things to collect, study, and display. That is the way of the galaxy. June's hands formed fists. Daho noticed this, but felt no fear. The human was small compared to a Varaxian. Besides, the floor of the container would deliver a painful shock if June tried to attack. Your world is primitive, Daho continued. Your people haven't even colonized your own solar system yet. To us, you are like. He searched for a word the human would understand. Like pets. I am not a pet, June said. Each word was sharp and clear. No. Daho studied him. Then what are you? A soldier, a human, a man who will return home. This made Daho laugh again. Spirited, most excellent. You will be the centerpiece of my new habitat. He turned to his aide. Prepare for planetary descent. I want the human installed in the main viewing area of my estate by tomorrow. Yes, Master Daho. Daho looked at June once more. Rest, human. Soon you will have a beautiful new home. Much nicer than your primitive Earth. As Daho walked away, he heard June speak again. My name is June. Daho paused, but did not turn back. Names were for equals, not specimens. Still, the human's defiance was interesting. Most beings broke quickly in captivity, becoming dull and predictable. This one might provide actual entertainment. Prepare the human for transport, Daho ordered as they left the holding room. And keep the security settings high. This one has fight in him. As the door closed behind them, Daho smiled again. His friends would be jealous of his newest acquisition. A human that fought back. That demanded respect even in captivity. It was rare to find a specimen with such spirit. The collection was growing nicely indeed. The new habitat was large and filled with trees, grass, and a small stream. It looked like Earth, but June knew it was fake. The sky was not blue but purple, and the sun was too bright. Strange birds with 6 wings flew above him. They were not real birds, just robots made to look like the creatures in the container next to his on the ship. June tested the invisible wall at the edge of the habitat. It gave a small shock when he touched it. Not enough to hurt badly, but enough to warn him. A door opened in the wall. A female Varaxian entered. She was smaller than Daho, with lighter skin and only 2 arms instead of 4. She carried a small device and wore a white coat over her robes. "Hello, human June," she said. "I am Hansel, zoologist for House Therax." June looked at her but stayed silent. "I am here to assess your health and habits," Hansel continued. She did not seem bothered by his silence. "This will help us create the best environment for you." "The best environment would be Earth," June finally said. Hansel tilted her head. "Interesting. Most new specimens take days to speak directly to us. I'm not a specimen." "Of course you are." Hansel sounded surprised. "All non-Varaxian life forms are specimens for study. Some, like you, are valuable enough to collect and display." June walked closer to her. He noticed how Hansel's hand moved toward a device on her belt. She was afraid of him, even though she was taller and stronger. "What do you want to know?" June asked. Hansel seemed pleased. "First, basic physical assessment. Please complete these tasks." For the next hour, Hansel had June run, jump, lift objects, and solve simple puzzles. He did everything she asked, watching her reactions carefully. Each time he finished a task, she made notes on her device. "Your physical abilities are impressive for your size," Hansel said. "Now, problem solving." She placed a clear box with food inside it on the ground. The box had no obvious opening. "If you can open this, you may have the food," she said. June studied the box. He saw small holes in one side. Taking a thin stick from the ground, he pushed it through one hole. Nothing happened. He tried another hole. The box clicked, and one side slid open. Hansel's eyes widened. Most specimens take 3 or 4 attempts over many hours. June took the food, a sweet fruit, and bit into it. "Humans are good at solving problems, especially soldiers." "What is a soldier?" Hansel asked. "A warrior, someone trained to fight and protect." Hansel made more notes. "Fighting is primitive. Varaxians have evolved beyond the need for warriors. Yet you have guards with shock rods," June pointed out. Hansel looked uncomfortable. "Security is different from warfare." She put her device away. "Tomorrow we will test your social behaviors. Master Deho wants to know if you can interact properly with other specimens." As Hansel turned to leave, June called out, "Are there other humans here?" "You are the first," Hansel said. "Master Deho has over 200 specimens from 87 worlds, but you are the only human." After Hansel left, June sat by the stream. He had learned much. The Varaxians thought themselves superior, but were cautious around him. They were studying him, but he was studying them too. Most importantly, he now knew that somewhere on this planet were 200 other captives. Some might want freedom as much as he did. June looked up at the purple sky. Getting home would not be easy, but his training had prepared him for difficult missions. This was just another mission, the most important one of his life. And every good mission started with gathering intelligence. For 7 days, June tested every part of his habitat. He found that the invisible wall made a different sound when he tapped it in certain places. The wall was weaker there. He memorized these spots. He also noticed the cameras watching him. They moved to follow him whenever he walked. But there were 10 seconds when a camera turned away before the next one turned toward him. 10 seconds might be enough. Every morning and evening, small robots brought him food and fresh water. At night, lights dimmed but never went completely dark. June counted the minutes between each robot visit. They were always exactly on time. During his 3rd assessment with Hansel, June learned something important. The other habitats, he asked while solving a new puzzle, "Where are they?" Hansel hesitated before answering. "The main display hall has 20 premium habitats in a circle. Yours is number 1, the most visible. And the others, the 200 you mentioned, lower levels, smaller habitats." Hansel seemed uncomfortable with his questions. "Focus on your task, please." But June had learned what he needed. His habitat was connected to others. There might be a way to reach them. That night, June began work on a tool. He used a sharp stone to cut strips from his sleeping mat. He twisted the strips into a strong rope. Next, he found a heavy rock and tied it to one end of the rope. A simple weapon, but better than nothing. On his 10th day in captivity, Jum saw his neighbor clearly for the first time. The bird-like creature from the ship was in the habitat next to his. It had a living space similar to Jum's, but with more trees and high perches. The bird being was watching him through the invisible wall. When it saw Jun looking back, it spread its 6 wings in what seemed like a greeting. Jun needed to communicate with it. He picked up a stick and drew in the dirt near the wall. He drew a simple picture of himself, then the bird being, then a broken wall between them. The bird being came closer. It studied Jun's drawing, then picked up its own stick. It drew something that looked like a map. Jun realized it was showing the layout of the habitats. This was the ally Jun needed, but how could they talk? 3 days later, Jun found a way. During Hansol's assessment, he pretended to trip and fall against her. In that moment, he took a small device from her pocket. It was a simple tool she used to adjust the puzzles. It might be useful. That night, Jun used the stolen tool to make a hole in the ground near the wall. The hole wasn't to escape. It was too small. Instead, he pushed one end of a hollow reed through it, under the wall, and into his neighbor's habitat. When the bird being found the reed the next morning, it understood immediately. It put its mouth to the reed and made soft clicking sounds. Jun couldn't understand the words, but the meaning was clear. They were now connected. Each night, Jun made the hole a little wider. If the guards noticed, they didn't seem concerned. Perhaps they thought he was just digging for fun. On the 15th day, the hole was big enough to pass small objects through. The bird being gave Jun a smooth stone with strange marks on it. Jun gave the bird being one of his food containers. "I'm Jun," he whispered through the reed that night. The bird being made a series of clicks that sounded like Ta-yang. "Ta-yang," Jun repeated. "We're going to escape." He didn't know if Ta-yang understood his words, but the excited flutter of wings told him the message was received. Jun was no longer alone in his resistance. 20 days into his captivity, Jun noticed unusual activity around his habitat. Workers installed new lights and cleaned every surface. Hansol visited twice in one day, making sure Jun looked healthy and the habitat was perfect. "What's happening?" Jun asked her. "Master Daeho is hosting an important gathering tonight," Hansol explained. "Many high-ranking Varaxians will view the collection." Jun nodded, hiding his interest. This could be a chance to learn more. That evening, the lights brightened, and a section of the habitat wall became completely clear. Jun could see into a large room where Varaxians in colorful robes gathered. They drank from shining cups and pointed at him like he was a painting in a museum. Daeho stood in the center, taller than the others, his 4 arms making grand gestures as he spoke. Though Jun couldn't hear the words, he could tell Daeho was proud of his collection. The Varaxians moved from habitat to habitat, stopping to stare at each captive. Some of the prisoners hid or turned away. Others performed tricks, hoping for treats. Jun simply watched, learning the faces of his enemies. When the group had seen all the habitats, they gathered in a circle for a meal. Servants placed food on a round table. The Varaxians sat on cushions and began to eat. Jun was about to turn away when he noticed a clear panel slide open in his habitat wall. The opening was small, just big enough to let sound through. Daeho must have opened it to let his guests hear Jun if he made noise. But it also meant Jun could hear them. He moved closer, pretending to drink from the stream while listening carefully. "Your collection grows impressive, Daeho," said a female Varaxian with jewels on her head. "The human is a fine addition." "Thank you, Council Leader," Daeho replied. "Humans are rare specimens. Their world is far from our usual hunting grounds." Another Varaxian spoke. "Speaking of hunting grounds, what of the expansion plans? Has the Council made a decision?" The room grew quiet. The Council Leader looked at the others before answering. "We have chosen the next sector for Varaxian rule. The reports show many resource-rich planets with only primitive life forms. It will be a simple matter to claim them. June's heart beat faster. Were they talking about Earth's part of space? And the natives? Asked another guest. The usual options, said the council leader. Useful species will be domesticated. Others will be removed. Daiho raised his cup. I look forward to expanding my collection. Perhaps more humans. This one has proven interesting. The council leader nodded. Your knowledge of humans will be valuable when we begin the Earth operation. Our first ships leave in 60 days. June froze. They were planning to attack Earth. In 60 days. A servant approached the table with more food, and the conversation moved to other topics. The sound panel slid closed. June sat by the stream, his mind racing. Earth knew nothing about the Varaxians. His people had no way to defend against such advanced technology. They would be captured or killed, just like him. He had to warn them. But how could one prisoner send a message across the stars? How could he escape a planet he knew nothing about? That night, June whispered through the reed to Tai Yang. Using simple words and hand signals that Tai Yang could see through the wall, he explained what he had heard. Tai Yang made quiet clicking sounds and drew a picture in the dirt. It showed many beings working together to break a wall. June understood. To save Earth, he would need help from all the prisoners. He needed a bigger plan, and he had less than 60 days to make it work. June needed to reach more prisoners, but the only one he could contact was Tai Yang. He drew maps in the dirt, trying to show Tai Yang his problem. 3 days later, Tai Yang solved it. The bird being passed a small object through their tunnel. It was a thin metal disc, shiny on one side. When June held it up to the light, it flashed brightly. Tai Yang made flashing movements with his wings, then pointed to other habitats. June understood. The disc could reflect light to signal others. That night, when the guard robots were at the far end of their route, June used the disc to send light flashes to the habitat across from his. Inside was a blue creature with long arms. At first, it hid from the light, but after many tries, it approached its wall and watched June's signals. June made simple patterns. 3 quick flashes, pause, 3 quick flashes. The blue being eventually copied him, sending back the same pattern using its glowing skin. Over the next week, June made contact with 5 more prisoners. Each one learned to signal back, but they needed more than simple flashes to plan an escape. During Hansol's next visit, June asked questions about the other specimens. The blue one across from me, what is it? He asked. Hansol checked her device. A luminar from the water moon Cyril. They communicate through skin patterns. And the small crystal 1-3 habitats down. That is a Chrysa. They are telepathic with their own kind. June tried to sound casual. Telepathic. They read minds. In a limited way, Hansol said. They sense emotions and simple thoughts when touching others of their species. This gave June an idea. That night, he signaled to the Chrysae habitat. The small crystal being watched him from behind a rock. June pointed to himself, then to the Chrysae, then made a touching motion with his hands. The Chrysae disappeared into its cave. June thought he had failed. But the next morning, Tai Yang passed him a surprise through their tunnel, a tiny crystal shard. Tai Yang drew in the dirt, showing that the shard came from the Chrysa. Somehow, Tai Yang had made contact with it too. When June touched the crystal shard, a strange feeling filled his mind. He felt calm and then curious, as if someone was asking him a question. June focused his thoughts on one idea. We need to escape. Help us. The feeling changed to agreement. Then June felt a new presence in his mind, like someone joining a conversation. More beings were connecting through the crystal. Within days, the crystal network grew. Tai Yang joined. Then the blue luminar. Then 3 more prisoners from different habitats. Each time a new mind connected, Jun shared his plan. They would escape together and stop the attack on Earth. Not all joined willingly. Some were afraid. Others had been captives so long they couldn't imagine freedom. But one by one, most agreed to help. The Chrysa, whose name felt like J1 in June's mind, became their central connection. Though small and delicate-looking, J1's telepathic abilities bridged their language barriers. Through the crystal link, each prisoner shared knowledge of Varaxian technology, routines, and weaknesses. The Luminar had been a ship engineer before capture. A furry creature called Mac knew about Varaxian security systems. Tai Yang could read the Varaxian writing on control panels. Together, they began to form a real plan. But they weren't the only ones noticing changes. Han Sol saw the prisoners watching each other across habitats. She noticed June's unusual interest in other species. Instead of reporting it, she began to observe carefully, taking private notes. Something was happening in the collection, and Han Sol wasn't sure if she should stop it. Over the next 10 days, June and his allies gathered everything they needed. Each prisoner collected small items from their habitats: rocks, sticks, pieces of food containers, and parts from broken toys that Daho had given them. Through their crystal connection, Jai-1 helped them share ideas. Mac explained how the security doors worked. The Luminar, whose name sounded like Ran in June's mind, described the ship bay where vessels docked. "We need to know when to move," June thought through the crystal. "The best time to escape." Tai Yang's thoughts came back. "The viewing day, when the purple moon is full. Daho will show us to many guests. Guards will be busy." "That's in 5 days," June thought. "Is everyone ready?" One by one, the prisoners sent their agreement through the crystal link. They had chosen their moment. Now they needed a complete plan. That afternoon, Han Sol came for June's regular assessment. She watched him solve puzzles, but her mind seemed elsewhere. "You're different from other specimens," she finally said. "You watch everything. You learn. The others are changing too." June stayed quiet. Han Sol lowered her voice. "I've been studying you for 27 days. Each day I write my notes and file my reports, but I keep some observations private." She showed him her device. On it was a report about unusual prisoner behaviors. It had not been sent. "Why are you showing me this?" June asked carefully. "Because it is not sent," Han Sol said, "and because I have questions that my training cannot answer." "What questions?" Han Sol hesitated. "Are you truly less developed than Varaxians, or just different? Is it right to keep beings in habitats when they can think and feel like we do?" June saw his chance. "Help us." Han Sol's eyes widened. "Us. You know we're communicating. You've seen it." June looked directly at her. "Your people plan to do to Earth what they've done to me. Capture, collect, kill those who resist. That is the way of expansion," Han Sol said, but she sounded uncertain. "Is it right?" Han Sol was quiet for a long time. Then she whispered, "What do you need?" Through the crystal, June felt the others' excitement. This was what they needed: someone who could move freely through Daho's estate. "Information," June said. "The layout beyond our habitats, the control room locations, the ship bay, and on viewing day, we need security systems turned off." "I would be marked as a traitor," Han Sol said. "I would lose everything." "We can take you with us," June offered. "Away from here." Han Sol looked surprised. "You would trust me? After what my people did to you? You're choosing to help. That makes you different." Han Sol thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. "I will bring what you need tomorrow. But if I am caught—" "You won't be," June promised. After Han Sol left, June shared everything through the crystal network. They now had an ally on the outside. The plan was taking shape. That night, all the prisoners worked on their tasks. June made weapons from stones and sticks. Tai Yang practiced flying in tight spaces. Ju-1 concentrated on extending the crystal's power. Ran built a small device that might disable doors. 4 days until viewing day. 4 days to perfect their plan. 4 days before they would fight for their freedom and for Earth's future. Through the crystal, Jum sent one final thought before sleeping. We are no longer specimens or pets. We are warriors now. The answering feeling was strong and clear. Unity. Viewing day arrived. From early morning, workers rushed around the habitats, cleaning and preparing. Daho walked among them, giving orders and checking every detail. Jun stayed calm, watching. Through the crystal shard hidden in his hand, he felt the others' nervous energy. They were ready. Hansol had been true to her word. For 3 days, she had smuggled them maps, tools, and information. Now everything depended on her final task, disabling the security systems at exactly the right moment. As the purple moon rose, guests began to arrive. They wore their finest robes and jewels. Daho welcomed them with grand gestures, proud of his collection. Music played. Servants carried food and drinks. Jun saw Hansol standing near a control panel, her fingers tapping nervously on her leg. 3 taps, pause, 3 taps. The signal they had agreed on. It was time. Jun pressed the crystal shard and sent the message to all. Now, in 20 habitats around the viewing hall, prisoners moved at once. Jun used his stone tools to pry open the small maintenance panel Hansol had shown him. Inside were wires that controlled his habitat door. He cut the right one. Nothing happened. Jun felt panic rising. Had Hansol tricked them? Then he heard a soft click. The invisible wall flickered and disappeared. The door slid open. He was free. Around the hall, other doors opened too. Confusion spread among the guests. Some screamed. Guards rushed forward, but they were too few and too slow. Tai Yang burst from his habitat, 6 wings spread wide. He flew to the high ceiling controls and began hitting buttons as planned. The lights went out. Only the purple moon through the glass roof lit the room now. Jun ran to Jai One's habitat and helped the small crystal being out. "Stay close to me," he said. Together, they moved through the darkness toward the exit Hansol had marked on their map. Guards tried to stop them. Jun used his military training to fight. He moved quickly, striking with precision. The guards were stronger, but Jun was faster and more skilled. One by one, they fell. The guests ran in panic. Daho shouted orders, his 4 arms waving wildly. "Seal the exits. Capture them all." But it was too late. Ran had reached the main control room and was using his knowledge to open all doors in the building. Hundreds of prisoners from the lower levels poured into the halls. Jai One touched each prisoner they passed, using telepathy to direct them to the ship bay. Mac disabled security doors with tools Hansol had provided. In the confusion, Jun lost sight of Hansol. Had she escaped, or had she been caught helping them? As they reached the ship bay, Jun saw her. She was opening the door to a small transport vessel. "Hurry," she called to them. "This supply ship is programmed to reach the trading hub. We can all fit if we squeeze." Prisoners rushed inside, helping each other. Species that had been enemies on their home worlds now worked together, united by their desire for freedom. Jun made sure Jai One was safely aboard, then turned back to help others. A loud roar filled the bay. Daho stood at the entrance, rage on his face. Behind him, armed guards aimed weapons. "Stop them," Daho commanded. Jun faced his captor one last time. "We are not pets," he said clearly. "We are not specimens. We are free beings." He backed toward the ship as the first shots fired. Tai Yang swooped down, creating a distraction that allowed Jun to leap aboard. Hansol hit the launch controls. The bay doors opened to the night sky. The ship rose, shaking with the weight of so many passengers. They were escaping. But would they make it to the stars? The ship shook as it pushed through the planet's atmosphere. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. Hansol worked quickly, her fingers dancing over the buttons. "Too heavy," she said. "Too many passengers." Jun looked around at the crowded ship. Nearly 200 former prisoners packed the small space. Some clung to walls, others held onto each other. All watched the viewing screen with hope and fear. "We can make it," Jones said firmly. Behind them, 3 Varaxian patrol ships appeared on the scanner. They were faster and better armed. "They're gaining on us," Hansol warned. Rand pushed forward to the controls. "I can help. I was a ship engineer." Hansol moved aside. Rand examined the engine settings, then made quick adjustments. The ship surged forward with new speed. The patrol ships fell back but still followed. They would catch up eventually. "We need a distraction," Jones said. Tai Yang clicked in agreement. Through Jai-1's crystal, Tai Yang shared an idea. The trading hub was surrounded by a dense asteroid field. If they could reach it, they might lose their pursuers. Rand aimed the ship toward the asteroid field. It was risky, but they had no choice. As they entered the field, the ship darted between huge rocks. Hansol gasped as they narrowly missed collisions. Rand's skills kept them moving safely, while the patrol ships had to slow down. "We're losing them," Max said, watching the scanner. Soon the patrol ships disappeared from view. They had escaped Daho and his guards. 3 days later, they reached the trading hub. It was a massive space station where beings from many worlds came to exchange goods. Here, they could all find ships heading to their home planets. Before they parted ways, Joan gathered everyone in the main hold. "We escaped together," he said, "but my world is still in danger. The Varaxians plan to attack Earth in less than 50 days. Jai-1 stepped forward and touched Jun's hand. Through the crystal connection, all felt the small being's determination. "Ji-1 will come with me to Earth," Jun announced. "We need her telepathic abilities to make humans understand our warning." Tai Yang clicked loudly and spread his wings. "Tai Yang will come too," Jun translated, "and Rand will help us navigate." One by one, others stepped forward. 12 former prisoners in all volunteered to help warn Earth. Each had knowledge or skills that could help humans prepare for the Varaxian threat. Hansol stood quietly in the corner. "Will you come with us?" June asked her. "I cannot return to my people," she said, "but I don't know if your people will welcome me. I am Varaxian." "You helped us escape," Jun said. "You chose what was right over what was easy. Earth needs allies like you." Hansol nodded slowly. "Then I will come. I can tell your leaders about Varaxian weaknesses." That night, as others slept, Jun recorded a message. He detailed everything he knew about Varaxian technology, weapons, and battle tactics. He added what Hansol told him about their ship's vulnerable points. "This is Jun, former soldier of Earth," he said into the recorder. "I was taken by aliens called Varaxians. They plan to invade our world, but they have never faced human warriors before. They think we are weak. They are wrong." He looked around at his sleeping allies, beings from across the galaxy who had chosen to help him. "I am bringing friends who will help us fight. Together, we will be ready when the Varaxians come." June sent the message ahead on the fastest available transport. It would reach Earth weeks before they arrived. It would give humanity time to prepare. The Varaxians had thought June was just a pet for their collection. They had been wrong. He was a warrior with a warrior's soul, and now he was bringing the fight back to them. Earth would be ready.